Morning all, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing alright. Locked in their fucking cupboards, like a sort of well-fed Anne Frank. Anne Frank with Walmart access. That's what we are over here in the fucking United States. Donald Trump fucking battered it out the park today. Well, there's two I want to cover really. Trump and Pritti, because both of them have pleased me in the last 24 hours. I was actually aroused reading the fucking letter that Donald sent to the Chinese. Well, not to the Chinese, they sent it to the WHO regarding the Chinese. And the Chinese promptly responded and went apeshit and said, fucking hell, you can't write this. You can't write facts that dispute our insane communist narrative. The really mad thing about the way that everyone seems to be sticking up for the Chinese in the West really does baffle me. Like, it seems as though it's even that has been drawn along political lines. Everything is political nowadays. Every fucking thing. You can't watch a TV show or read a book without someone claiming, oh, it's politics, that. It's all about politics, really. And it fucking is in this day and age. It's crazy to me that you've got people born and raised in the United States who will do anything to defend the Chinese. A country that is, without any shadow of a doubt, a communist authoritarian dictatorship. This is off PBS NewsHour, so quite an impartial source. And they've discussed at length what's been going on with the Chinese and the Uyghurs. They said there's at least 1 million been interned since 2017. That's a pretty conservative estimate by all accounts. I mean, I've read fucking way worse. PBS are obviously trying to stay on the fence as best they can. Obviously, their government's long denied the camps for them existed, but everybody fucking knows it. If you think you cannot believe the Chinese president's radio, all they do is fucking lie. That's not my opinion, that's a proven fact. Yeah, the Muslim minority say they were detained, interrogated, beaten because of their religion. Again, this isn't news to anyone who's not a fucking lunatic. It's worse than that. They've been getting murdered, like fully murdered. They're harvesting their organs. They're fucking butchering them. They like to still refer to it as East Turkestan. And this doesn't please the Chinese. Communists aren't renowned for being forgiving and caring fucking people, are they? And worst of all, they've got natural gas and oil and minerals, which means your friendly neighbourhood authoritarian communist regime, they ain't just going to let that shit go, are they? Yep, they say they're extremists and they're a threat to security. Well, a tiny number of them might be, but that doesn't give you fucking carte blanche to round them all up and gas the cunts, does it? They've basically got no freedom. They bulldozed all the fucking mosques. Basically, they did what an extreme right-wing fanatic would do if he took over in, like, France or something. And that's the point I'm getting at. To see liberal lefties in the UK and in the United States criticising Boris and Trump and everything they do while praising one of the most despicable, murderous, authoritarian... I don't even want to use the term regime. I was going to say regimes on Earth, but fuck them. They're just massive, massive bunch of cunts is what the Chinese Communist Party are. And it's indisputable. So the reason I like this tweet so much was because I've mentioned it several times over the last few weeks. The fact that the WHO is quite clearly in thrall of the Chinese. Like, it's not a conspiracy, it's a known fact. And they do such a good job of laying out the timeline in this letter he sent to Dr. Tedros of the WHO that it bears reading out and sharing, because it's just black and white. This is what happened. This is what we've got evidence for. Fuck you. So, I'll go over it. It says, Dear Dr. Tedros, on April 14th, 2020, I suspended the United States contributions to the World Health Organization pending an investigation by my administration of the organization's failed response to the COVID-19 outbreak. Nothing the talking heads haven't been saying for fucking weeks. Well, the non-partisan ones. Anderson Cooper's got the fucking situational awareness of goldfish in a hijab. He might as well be presenting the news with his fucking head in a bin bag. It says, this week has confirmed many of the serious concerns I raised last month and identified others that the World Health Organization should have addressed, especially the World Health Organization's alarming lack of independence from the People's Republic of China. No shit, Sherlock. Based on this review, we now know the following. This is the good stuff. Times, dates, black and white, facts. The WHO consistently ignored credible reports of the virus spreading in Wuhan in early December, or even earlier, including reports from the Lancet Medical Journal. Oh yeah, that bastion of right-wing conspiracy theories, the fucking Lancet. The WHO failed to independently investigate credible reports that conflicted directly with the Chinese government's official accounts. No fucking shit, because everything the Chinese government say is fucking bollocks. By no later than December 30th, the WHO's office in Beijing knew there was a major public health concern in Wuhan. Between December 26th and December 30th, China's media highlighted evidence of a new virus emerging from Wuhan based on patient data sent to multiple Chinese genomics companies. Additionally, during this period, Dr. Zhang Zishan, a doctor from Hubei Provincial Hospital of Integrated Chinese and Western Medicine, told China's health authorities that a new coronavirus was causing a novel disease that was at the time afflicting 180 patients approximately. That's good. At least they've got an integrated Chinese and Western medicine centre now. Like fucking, there's no more crunching up and snorting fucking donkey dicks to fucking try and give yourself an erection. Yeah, it's only took them 3,000 fucking years to get with the programme. So well done lads, that's progress. Try some Viagra instead, it works. No need to fucking butcher rhinos and elephants because you think it'll give you a boner. By the next day, Taiwanese authorities had communicated information to the WHO indicating human-to-human transmission. That's a fact as well. The Taiwanese have been all over this because they don't like the Chinese. And they've been telling everybody, guys, the Chinese are taking the fucking piss. And because the partisan divide is so retarded, you've actually got all these lefty media outlets who don't want it to be China. They don't want to blame anyone but Trump, even though the fucking virus started there because the manky bastards scran bats. Well, it's irrelevant, isn't it? Either a lab or bats or whatever it was, but at the end of the day, it came from China. Or as Donald likes to say, China. The WHO chose not to share any of this critical information with the rest of the world, probably for political reasons. Well, he's being polite there. 100% for fucking political reasons. Why else would they do it? Just for shits and giggles. The international health regulations require countries to report the risks of a health emergency within 24 hours, but China did not inform the WHO. Can I fuck get this whole letter to work on the page? Fuck you, Twitter. Of Wuhan several cases of pneumonia until December 31st, even though it had knowledge of these cases days or weeks earlier. Yep. There's a paragraph you still can't read there. It says, according to a doctor of the Shanghai Public Health Clinic Center, he told the authorities on January 5th that he had sequenced the genome of the virus, and there was no publication of this information until at least 6 days later on January 11th, when he himself posted it online. This is the best bit. The next day, the Chinese authorities closed his lab for recertification. Even as the WHO acknowledged, Dr. Zhang's posting was a great act of transparency. So the doctor took it on himself to fucking square it away and tell everyone, and the fucking government rocked up the day after, probably put his balls in a vice and then closed his fucking lab. It says, and even after the WHO acknowledged it was an act of transparency, they have been conspicuously silent both with respect to the closure of his lab and his assertion that he had notified Chinese authorities 6 days earlier. Fucking shocking. The WHO has repeatedly made claims about the coronavirus that were either grossly inaccurate or misleading. On January 14th, the WHO gratuitously reaffirmed China's debunked claim that it could not be transmitted between humans, saying, preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission. Fucking lying cunts. It says in black and white there, this assertion was directly in conflict with censored reports from Wuhan. On January 21st, President Xi Jinping reportedly pressured you not to declare the coronavirus outbreak an emergency. You gave in to this pressure and the next day told the world that the coronavirus did not pose a public health emergency. Fucking hell. Just over a week later, on January 30th, overwhelming evidence then forced you to reverse course. They are banged to fucking rights, are they? They are banged to rights. It'd be like catching the Yorkshire Ripper stood over fucking 3 corpses covered in blood with a knife in his hand saying, it was me, I fucking knifed the cunt. Like, do you need any more evidence? On January 28th, this is class as well. After meeting President Xi, you praised the Chinese government for its transparency. and said China set a new standard for outbreak control. Fuck me. It's like, unless there's a fucking Chinese soldier with a Luger pointed at your fucking head, why are you coming out with this shit? When you've got all of that evidence that I've just read out, in black and white, documented facts, and they release that fucking bullshit. Because they think they can just lie constantly and no one's going to fact check them, don't they? That's why. It says, you did not mention that China had silenced or punished several doctors for speaking out about the virus and restricted Chinese institutions from publishing information about it. Even after you declared the outbreak, you failed to press China for the timely admittance of a WHO organisation team, and the critical team didn't arrive in China until weeks later, on February 16, 2020. They also strongly praised China's domestic travel restrictions, but were inexplicably against Trump's closing of the United States border with respect to people coming from China. I put the ban in place regardless of your wishes. Your political gamesmanship on this issue was deadly. Fucking hell. Scathing. It just goes on and on. Chinese authorities allowed more than 5 million people to leave the city and travel all around the world. Fucking unbelievable. On February 3rd, they were strongly pressuring countries to lift or forestall travel restrictions. Of course they fucking were. On March 3rd, the WHO cited Chinese data to downplay the very serious risk of asymptomatic spread. Fucking wrong. By the time you finally declared the virus a pandemic, it had killed more than 4,000 people and infected at least 100,000 people in 114 countries. Epic fucking fail, to use the youthful vernacular. On April 11th, African ambassadors wrote to the Chinese Foreign Ministry about the discriminatory treatment Africans were receiving related to the pandemic. You were aware the Chinese were carrying out forced quarantines, evictions and refusal of services. Blatantly racist and discriminatory. However, you did basely label Taiwan as a racist, despite their well-founded complaints about your mishandling of the pandemic. Unbelievable. Throughout the crisis, the WHO has been curiously insistent on praising China for its transparency. True. 100% true. The WHO has publicly failed to call on China to allow for an independent investigation. Yes, and perhaps worse than all of these failings is that we know that the WHO could have done so much better. I cannot allow American taxpayer dollars to continue to finance an organisation that in its present state is so clearly not serving America's interest. Fucking game, set and match. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fucking superb. And he has got balls like coconuts for sending it, hasn't he? Because all the fucking daft cunts, the civil servants, the Sir Philip Rutnams of the world, will be going, no, you can't do that. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, it simply boils down to this. You can spin and you can obfuscate and you can lie and you can mislead, but you can never ever turn an honest statement into a fictional one. You can't turn an honest man into a fucking liar, no matter how you spin it. And everything in that letter is fucking true. We know it, they know it, the Taiwanese know it, everyone around the world knows it. Not one of them bullet points is not backed up by documented evidence. So, China are fucked. It's a cut and shut case. He definitely deserves a pat on the back for that. And the fact that you've got fucking British and American and European people siding with the Chinese, again, the most despicable authoritarian major regime at play in world affairs. And you've got our own people sticking up for them. It's fucking unbelievable. I feel like these cunts would collaborate with fucking Stalin or some cunt if it meant going against what Trump says. If he says up, they say down. It doesn't matter what the fuck they're talking about. They just have to be in direct opposition, don't they? To the point where it's lost all common sense or logic. Oh yeah, and the other thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, Pritti. There's a quick tweet I sent. Some bloke said, when will the left learn it's okay to be gay and a Tory? I'm a proud gay member of the Conservative Party. I said, I'm a straight Tory, and if I had to choose between Corbyn as the PM or Boris as the PM, but I had to go around his house and wank him off on the veranda before PM's questions every Wednesday, I'd take one for the team and grab it like a fat kid grasping a tube of Smarties. And I fucking would. Americans, by the way, that's a tube of Smarties. It's a fucking M&M's basically, and for some reason they come in a tube. It's not whatever these fucking things are. Strange that, innit? America. In America, Smarties are like a fucking, I don't know, whatever they are. 25 calories. Fuck that. Nothing good has 25 calories in it. I don't give a fuck what it is. Anyway. Got distracted there by Boris's cock. There's Pritti's tweet I liked. Victims of these sickening child sex abuse groups have told me how they were let down by the state in the name of political correctness. It remains one of the biggest stains on our country's conscience. I'm determined to deliver justice. Fucking finally. Like, yeah, fair point. I made a video about that last week. How about deporting them? You know the fucking ones. She does. But at the end of the day, you've got to be happy with that, haven't you? We might have fucking... There might have been slow on the uptake, but I think mass outrage by about 20 million people has just forced their hand. It says, news story, government to publish paper on group-based offending. Paper looking at group-based child sexual exploitation will be published later this year. Fucking bang on. Fantastic news. And yeah, people power, everyone. I mean, you've got tens of millions of people kicking off about that. So that's going to get released. The only downside to it is I do feel like good old James Dellingpole, I'm a big fan of him, and he put the lockdown we imposed on the basis of junk science, non-peer-reviewed model by a discredited philandering chancer is the worst government decision in history. We'll never distract anyone from such a cock-up. No, wait. Fucking, it's hard not to be cynical, isn't it? Like, they know they've fucked up massively, so they could have thought, hey, you know what, we could kill two birds with one stone here. We could shut every fucker up and get them talking about something else. And we can stop the people complaining about us not publishing the grooming gang report. So they're publishing it. Well, anyway, we really are in a situation in the UK where you can't complain, can you? Because the alternative is a far left fucking lunatic. Like, there's only two parties to vote for at the minute. Tories or Labour. And if you go Labour, who are you going to get as the Justice Secretary? Fucking David Lammy. The militant, anti-white, politically correct activist. What do you think he's going to do about the grooming gang report? He'd bury it fucking twice. He would fire it into the fucking heart of the sun, that cunt. That would never see the light of the day. So we can all whinge about Pritti, but at the end of the day, she's better than the alternative, isn't she? And I think that's the problem, really. That's why we've got such shit leadership. Because in the UK, it's always a choice between a punch in the face or a boot in the bollocks. Still, credit where it's due. We complained, they listened for whatever reason. So well done, Pritti. Hats off to you. I can't fucking wait to read it. And I think we all know what it's going to say. If you don't know my thoughts about it, yeah, I'll link my tirade about Jack Straw at the end. But it needs to be seen, and I think we all know exactly what it's going to fucking say. It's going to say that those horrible cunts targeted people specifically based off the fact that they weren't sharing the same religious ideology as them. And it's a national fucking scandal. And they ignored it because they were fucking working class kids and not posh middle class arseholes in the fucking home counties. That's what it's going to fucking say. But I await it with bated breath. And that's that for the day. Great news. Well done, Donald. Well done, Pritti. And I'll see you lot tomorrow. Take it easy.